entrepreneurship is a fascinating journey. And in my exploration of this and my interest in how we start businesses and how people grow businesses, and my own experience with being involved in startups, it always fascinates me how many people have this question, this one question that are then posed to people. The question is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start a business, how do you find an idea if you have no idea what kind of business to start? Where do you come up with the idea? How do you also know that it is a viable and useful idea and could become a very good business?
That's a very good question, actually a brilliant question.
Right. So this is an interesting question. So it's kind of like, I would like to be my own boss and be an entrepreneur, but I have no clue what I should be doing.
Welcome to Risk and Rise, the podcast where we explore the journey of overcoming the fear of failure, embracing risk, and achieving success in entrepreneurship, creativity, and personal growth. I'm your host, Telana Simpson, and I'm thrilled to embark on this journey with you. Together we'll discover the strategies, insights, and shifts in our thinking and attitudes that are needed to turn setbacks into stepping stones and transform fear into fuel for success. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's episode of Risk and Rise.
So we are going to be unpacking this question and going through the different responses that I got from people that I've been interviewing on Risk and Rise, or have some kind of experience with being an entrepreneur or assisting entrepreneurs. And their answers are not only fascinating and exciting and interesting, but a lot of them are very practical. And my hope is that you will leave this episode with all these ideas and practical tools that you can use to go now and find your next business idea. So the starting point that I've learned from these people is that the journey needs to be an internal one, or at least the starting point. The place you need to start is somewhere inside.
The business idea it comes from inside you.
That was George Scola, but he also had some more advice.
Yeah, firstly, don't make a business idea when you've had a few drinks, because that's not a business idea. So just have a stable mind, and all businesses started with an idea.
I also posed this to Allon Raiz of Raiz Corp.
I think you need to go on a journey. It can't be the first idea that comes to your mind.
Anne Gray of the Leaders Library also echoed this point.
Wow. If you don't know what business to start, you need to just go all the way back to your personal why.
There was also a strong emphasis on the authenticity of the idea, that it has to be something that comes from your skills, your life, and who you are.
What do you like doing? Do what you love. Just do it. Don't try and be anybody else. Just be yourself.
Adrienne Nupier's main point is about our authenticity in our idea. This was echoed as well by Kerryne Krause.
Because so many people run into things thinking this is going to make me money, or let me do something that's the next hottest thing. They'll look at trends, they'll look at, and you almost tempted in a way to copy. It's a little bit of a copycat and trying to be something you're not, or trying to get on board things that other people have been successful in. Authenticity is essential to success. You've got to be passionate about whatever subject or topic that you're in. So let's say most of your life you've been in the food industry. and you're passionate about food, and it just is who you are. That's your passion. It's your purpose in life. It's what you want to do. It's what you love. That's the industry that you start to look for gaps in. And I find most of the time when people are living their passion and purpose, they will stumble upon that gap naturally, because you'll be working in that environment and you'll be frustrated. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be frustrated a lot. And where the frustrations are is where the idea is. So let's say, I don't know, there's a utensil missing that nobody's invented. And you just think, man, if I only had a utensil that could do this or do that, this one kind of doesn't work well enough. That one burns my hand. There's your next idea. That's what you focus on. That's where you go. So as long as you are living and walking your own passion out in the industry that you skilled at and that you enjoy, don't go playing in other ponds, because you're just going to get into trouble and it's going to be kind of a Me Too copycat thing. What's destined for you will come across your path. Just get busy. Just get busy.
No way. We need to find something that we're passionate about, and that's where we're not copying someone else's idea, something that we have no interest or skill or ability or inclination towards. That is where you're being inauthentic. But it's very good to look at other businesses in other geographical landscapes that may then inspire you within your area of authenticity.
Look, there is the synthetic way, which I think a lot of people tend to do.
That's Richard Nilsson.
And so if you are, let's say, an entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur in South Africa, you could maybe look at companies in the UK, young companies that have come up with something that seems to be working, or in the US, and see, okay, if nobody else does this in South Africa, is there a market for this? Could I clone what they have? Could I steal their idea? Or not steal it, but could I take their idea, modify it to my geo-territory and market, because I know the people here, because I'm one of them. And so that's what we call the synthetic ideas. So go and find a synthetic idea that you think could work in your market. And you can do that, again, by Googling or just looking at 20 hottest startups in the UK or 20 hottest tech startups in the US, and you'll find these different lists. If you see the same companies appearing at different lists, you can kind of draw the conclusion that, okay, these are a couple of the hot ones. Study them, see if that could work, and you can kind of get inspired and modify it to your own needs.
But let's go back to Allon Raiz and just hear more about what he said in how this journey starts from within to help us find our business idea.
And it generally is the nexus between what you're passionate about, where your skills lie, and where your potential network lies. The nexus between those three is the highest place of finding a highly probable business. But sometimes you don't have the network, but coming back to the sense of self-belief, I believe I can find that network. I'll build that network. So you don't necessarily have to have all the skills, because you could also get those skills. But that you'd start there and then go down to 2 and then go down to 1, which is what I'm passionate about. And very often people are not passionate, don't know what they're passionate about, or lie about what they're passionate about, or haven't thought deeply and sincerely about what their passions are. So then go to do the real work on what am I really passionate about, and don't just pay lip service to it. Oh, I'm passionate about making money, or I'm passionate about personal development, or don't have these big statements. What about personal development? Like specifics, and do the work there.
Renier Kriel of the Open Letter also focuses on skills.
Yeah, so I think, business ideas are all around us, but the best ones are typically the ones that are close to the stuff that we're working on right now, right? So if you are a teacher, it's probably, identify some problems around you or stuff that frustrates you and figure out how to solve those problems. And if not that, take one step further, like who in your close circles actually work in a specific place where there is a pressing problem that they would like to get solved and they're willing to pay money for. And those are really good places to start, as solving those things, and then getting to a point where people are willing to pay for it could result in building something big.
You need to just go all the way back to your personal why.
To Anne Gray again.
And that should give you clarity around what it is that's going to give you a business that resonates with your own purpose.
And brings us back again to our why and purpose, and also shares a very useful exercise.
Because I fully believe that if you start a business that doesn't resonate with your own purpose, your own personal values, Mike Michalowicz calls them the inimitable laws, those things that you can't change about yourself. You do something that doesn't align with those things, you are going to find it very hard to sustain the effort and the energy required in order to keep the thing going when it gets hard. Because you're just not feeling it. You're not passionate about it. It doesn't sit, well with you. So, yeah, I think that's the thing. If you want to start a business but you don't know what to do, go and do a purpose. Get some clarity around your purpose. So I have this. There's a tool out there called the Ikigai tool, and there's 4 circles on the Ikigai tool, and you're looking for the convergence. Like, what can you do? What's in your zone of genius? That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what does the world need? What is it that you can do that the world needs, and what is it that you're trying to sort of, what gap is it that you're trying to plug in sort of what the world needs? The 3rd question is, what can you get paid for? So the world might need clean air, but you can't get paid for that, or can you? Are you able to devise a way to create clean air? So what can you do and get paid for? And then what is the last question now? I'm trying to remember. It's, what can you do? What does the world need? What can you get paid for?
Is it around your passion, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. It's like, what are you passionate about? Exactly. And so when you put those things together and you write those 4 different lists, you then go and highlight the things that are on all of them. And that is your Ikigai, so to say.
So we really need to start by looking for a problem in this world that we can solve. Richard's 2nd point was all about that.
The other way is to ask yourself, what do I know that most other people don't know? And what sector do I understand? And what is a nagging problem that this sector seems to be having? And do I think there may be some sort of solution? And then if you have enough, you start to scribble on some paper, and then you start to kind of put it down in a nicer Word document, and then maybe in a deck, and you start working on it, and it kind of comes together.
There are also some great tools that we can use to come up with the ideas. And Dr. Chomba Chuma shares one and how he uses AI.
One of the ways, as I mentioned, is get yourself to one of the AI tools. I found the AI tools to be very, very useful, because coming up with a business idea is very tough. And it can take a lot of your time, both physically and emotionally. So I would say get into one of the AI tools. You have a rough idea of what you want to do, and start prompting the AI tool, like ChatGPT. These days, there's Google Gemini, and start prompting and asking the different questions. And all of a sudden, you start realizing that because it has the tools to research on the web, it will start giving you very good ideas. So that is the first step. The second, and that is called customer discovery, because the idea is all about discovering whether there's a need for it. And you'll find that the AI tools are very good at that.
There are also some great resources in terms of courses that we can do. One from the Startup Tribe, run by York Zuki.
We have 2 free courses that you're welcome to go for. One is called the 14-day entrepreneurship challenge. It's 14 2-minute questions that we ask. And that gets your head around understanding, okay, I don't actually know why I want to be an entrepreneur. Do I want to grow a big business, or do I want to just feed my family? Do I want to have fun in life? Because if you want to grow a big business, there's an opportunity cost. So my answer is go do that course, and it's free. But the reason why I'm saying that is not for our platform. It really doesn't matter. It's that sometimes we don't know why we want to do something. So really start it, understand why you want the motivation. And that motivation is like the wind in a sailboat. It will keep you going for a very long time. Once you align to what you're passionate about and the reason why you're doing it, there's nothing that's going to stop you.
Paul Smith of Civitas, who is also an expert in growth entrepreneurship and also the lean startup method, pointed us in a very specific direction.
My view would be to do the YC Startup School course and read a lot. There's a lot online on how to do this, basically spot good ideas. So that would be just upskill on ideation opportunity spotting, something that will really move the needle if you get right. So take some time. Don't just start with any little idea. Find something that's going to be a sensible needle moving idea that can potentially work.
So we spend some time going within, exploring our passions, our purpose, our big whys, looking at our skills, looking at the industry that we have some kind of experience in, as well as looking for problems. What are the things that really frustrate us or frustrate someone we know in an industry that we are interested in? And that starts to point us to something that we can solve that will add value to this world, and then we can turn into, hopefully, a viable business. But now we need to test that idea. Really, it's worth doing some upfront, real thought and research and testing and validating of your idea before you go the next step. George Scola gets us going here.
Yeah, it's got to come from within. Every idea comes from a person. Or collaborate with a group of people of similar mindsets. And, all businesses started with an idea. So when you come up with that idea, just make it foolproof. Just go through everything you can think of. All the pros, kind of do a SWOT on your business idea. And then once you've done that, then go speak to somebody in that field and do a SWOT and see how far or how close you are. So whatever that idea may be, do your own SWOT on it, and then go and bounce it off somebody who's been in that space. And look, obviously with IP and protect all that kind of stuff, but don't ask your family because they won't be honest with you.
So true. Dr. Chomba Chuma also has some points about validating your customer and your idea.
Is once you've discovered who the customer is, then you can validate. Then the most important skill again here is learn how to validate your idea. And like I mentioned, TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook are excellent validation tools. And validating is where you're looking for, is there enough customers to buy my product, to use my service, and where can I find them? So if you're able to do that, then your business idea will be up and running within a very short period of time.
And even though we validated the idea and we start with that idea and get the business going, there's a really, really good chance that the end business will be very different to what we started with. Richard Nilsson reminds us of this.
But the one thing I would tell people is whatever you start with is never going to be the same in the end. You are going to pivot, whether you like it or not, throughout that journey, because your initial conviction needs modification. And that's because you need to experiment, you need to test out the market, and so that's just how life goes, and certainly how entrepreneurship goes.
But what's the use of just having an idea? What's really, really critical is that we actually action the idea.
Ideas are a dime a dozen. No idea is unique.
That's Jonathan Smit, an entrepreneur who's now an investor, and his main point is around execution.
And I think that everyone, who thinks about entrepreneurship or starting a business thinks that their idea or the idea is the unique thing, and it really isn't. I mean, I guarantee you, if you've got an idea or someone's got an idea, there are 20 people who've got that idea. There are thousands probably. The only difference is action. That's the difference. It's not the idea. So I don't even think that you don't need to have an idea to start a business. So I think in that case, if someone has the will and the desire and the work ethic and all the rest of it to be an entrepreneur, but doesn't necessarily know what, same deal. Go to the startup events, go and talk to people, go to entrepreneurial organizations. I guarantee you will find someone talking about ideas. You have enough conversations, there'll be someone who has a good idea but is not doing anything about it. And you can either work with them and partner and do it, or you could just do it. There's no moratorium on ideas. So yeah, same advice. Just go to these organizations, talk to people, and take it from there. But the thing that's more unique is the good entrepreneur who has the ability to execute. That's the key. It's not the idea. I mean, in some very rare instances, it's the idea, but very rare. More rare is the ability to execute.
So we've got the idea, we've validated, and now we're on execution mode. What else?
But yeah, once you've established you've got a solid idea, then commit to it.
Because the longer you wait, the more agony you go through, because you have this urge to start a business, but you keep thinking, don't have the right idea, but go through AI, go through social media, validate you, and start doing it. You feel better once you start doing it. That's the beauty about starting a business.
This has been Risk and Rise with me, Telana Simpson. I hope you have enjoyed exploring this one question. I hope you have some great ideas now and starting points to go and find your next business idea so that you can go and make it happen. Please do follow us and subscribe on your favorite podcast app, and share this with a friend who is stuck, doesn't know where to go, and is dying to start a business idea. Let's help them and us learn to risk and rise together.
Thank you for joining me on Risk and Rise, where we face fears, conquer challenges, and rise above adversity to achieve our dreams. Find out more at riskandrise.co.za.